Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of the Three Money Amigos because we're all together again. So I know it's been a while since you all seen all three of us, so it's a good time to share. It's a good time to start preparing your notes on questions that you have because individually, our price points are pretty high. So we suggest that you take advantage of these situations to ask us questions live. And not saying that in bragging or anything, but it's just real. We do this to give our community an opportunity to ask us what they can, so we can answer it in front of everybody. And today's topic is really important for anybody. Not only is an entrepreneur, solopreneur, whatever you might be. This is a really good topic for anybody that owns multiple businesses. Again, it will be applicable for anybody who just owns a business, but it is absolutely applicable to anyone who owns multiple businesses. So, what is the topic? Before I tell you the topic, we're going to introduce all the Three Money Amigos. That's a cliffhanger. That's what keeps you coming back. so, Beverly, we can start with you.
I'm laughing because I just shared on my screen and put the the title of it. I just shared it on my Facebook page. So I am Beverly Winstead. I am the founder of the law offices of Beverly Winstead, and we're a tax resolution firm. We help clients that have problems with the IRS. Whether you are owe IRS money, you're going through an audit, or you feel like you have been treated unfairly and want to go to court to dispute, what IRS is saying that you owe. We do that too. So glad to be back. Glad to be here.
All right. Thank you. And enjoy.
So I'm Joy Sistrunk of Premier Group. We are a CPA firm in the Washington, D.C. area. We help with all of your CFO and audit and occasionally tax needs as well.
All right. And my name is Brent Simpson. I am the co founder of Investing Education Academy along with Leon Noble. If you've been thinking about getting into the stock market, although it might look a little rough out there, now's a really good time to get in. And if you are already in, but you're thinking, how do I manage this whole situation? This is a great time to get professional advice. So if you're looking to join our community, you can go to ieanow.com and join. So today, what are we talking about? What is that topic? What was the cliffhanger? Getting organized. And we're going to talk about what the difference between your responsibilities are as a business owner versus what your professional's responsibilities are as your tax preparers, your accounting firm, your litigation firm, whatever it may be. Like, what does that line look like? And I am absolutely 100% throwing myself into the hot seat on this one. And so, both Joy and Beverly, I'm clients of theirs. And all the time, I'm oftentimes thinking it is your tax professional or accounting professionals, somehow, some way, they're just clairvoyant and they know everything that we need as business owners when it comes to tax season. All my
That's my
books are just
magic wand. That's my symbol for my magic wand. The
it's,
magic that we do. Right, Joy?
Mhm. That's
it's a
right.
very real thought. Like us business owners, and they're business owners as well, but they also understand what they're doing on the tax and accounting side. So understand they are business owners, but this is what they breathe all day, every day. For us, and I'm putting myself as a non-tax or accounting professional, we come to them and our thought is, I'm going to give you 2 sheets of paper, and somehow you're going to figure out all the other sheets of paper that I didn't give you. And
Mhm.
that's not accurate. Additionally, our thoughts are, well, why didn't you all tell me that it was tax season? I'm not supposed to remember. You all are supposed to tell me. And now I'm going into tax season in my feelings because I feel like you didn't tell me until April 10th that April 15th is the deadline when on professionals, and we were just sending out a reminder that we're filing extensions. And you think, like, why is that the first time I'm hearing from you all? You should have been monitoring this for me. So let's start there. Like, with those people who think it is you all's responsibility to track all timelines of S corps, single member LLCs, dual member LLCs, C corps, you know, is that the way it works?
Loosely, we do track it because we know it's coming, but we don't know what you're going to do from year to year unless I'm meeting with you, or unless I'm sure Beverly is the same. Unless we're meeting with you consistently, we don't honestly know if you're even coming back for our services. So we know the deadline, but we don't know it for you. Well, meaning it's not our responsibility to come to you to say, hey, your deadline is coming up. It's I guess our responsibility to advertise it, to make sure we're being client centric. But it's up to you to reach out to us to say, hey, I want to try to meet this deadline. And know that, and not come to us like the day before the deadline to say, oh, by the way, I needed this done tomorrow, because that can't really happen.
Go ahead, babe.
Yeah, I would say the beauty of actually Joy working with a professional is that if you're in our system, like we do try to send emails, right? We do advertise. We do say, hey, remember you got this S Corp deadline coming up March 15th. You have this C Corp deadline coming up April 15th, partnership deadline. And if you're already in our ecosystem, a lot of times, Joy, you know this, we'll go ahead and file the extension for you so that you're not left hanging, even if we don't know whether or not you're coming back, right? We just do it automatically. But if you're someone who is not consistently working with a tax professional, that's when honestly you're left out there, in my opinion, to dry. And that's when you end up really incurring unnecessary penalties. And when you get those penalties, let me tell you, IRS is a lot of times unforgiving and relentless when it comes to that.
And so is the states, for that matter, because we talk about the IRS a lot, but the states are equally the same, and they even have a higher interest rate. So it gets brutal out there.
So for us as business owners, I'm gonna throw this out there. You have to have a strategy. And I mean a strategy on how you're presenting your information to your professionals. I just learned this lesson. And I'm gonna put myself out. I just learned it a month ago. And I have to take responsibility for the fact that I just assumed that everybody be clairvoyant and read my mind and figure out everything from taxes I did 3 years ago. When I was confused myself, how can I expect my professionals to be organized? Because I'm not even presenting the information in an organized fashion. And you all know who you are out there. I'm looking at you. You all bring this shoebox of information 2 days before the deadline, shove it across the table, and think that it's just magically going to get done, and then have an attitude if it doesn't. That is unfair to your professional. That's not even a professional way to approach it. If you hear me saying this, I said I just figured it out because I'm also accepting responsibility that I didn't have it together. I own about 4 companies. I wasn't tracking them well. Now, to get organized, if you're going to listen to 3 Money Migos, it's like, what's the solution? Get organized now. Tax season for some of you all is not as stressful as it was before April 15th. I'm going to say it that way because it's not necessarily over. But this is a great opportunity, especially for those of you all who own multiple companies. Create a simple spreadsheet. And so we'll give you X, Y, parameters and everything. Across the X axis, just go across. X is across, Y is down, right?
X is across?
Across. Yeah, just keep going. That's fine.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So straight across, you write the names of your company. Like company 1, whatever the name is, company 2, whatever the name is, company 3, whatever the name is. Going straight down, you can start writing the forms that you need for those companies. Is it a 1099? Do you need a profit or loss? Everybody needs a profit or loss at the end of the year. Put dates next to it. December, end of the year profit and loss, total year profit, whatever you want to call it. 1099. If you need 1099 you're expecting 1099s from people. If you're issuing 1099s, write issuing, write receiving next to 1099. So you now know, normally I receive 1099s from these companies. So you can start putting check marks in those boxes. And it's simple. It's really simple. You can put check marks now going down that list in December. Now, some of your 1099s won't go out or come in until January, February, but you now have a checklist of what is normal, and it should be a living, breathing document. So update it. Every year where you start getting more business, and you have more 1099s going out or coming in, expand it. If you have a new company hit the books, add it to the top at the end. So now you can go through the checklist not only with yourself, but send it to your professional. So if somebody presented you all with this, do you feel like it'll make it your life easier?
Yes,
it would. It would. No, go ahead, Beth.
Yeah, no. I mean, obviously, the more organized you are, the better we can interpret data, and the better we can more accurately prepare a tax return. So this is important because, I work with people that have tax problems, and I've seen it. I've seen it over and over again. A lot of tax problems stem from people that are disorganized. Like, I feel like we live in a high-paced society, right? We always got to be on the go. We can't sit still. That's just where we are in life. And even if we have downtime, guess what we're doing? We headed to Jamaica, Aruba. We doing something. Like, it's just like, man, I ain't even got my finances, on my brain. And then all of a sudden it's tax filing season, and then you're scrambling to send over to us what you feel like your documents are. Even though we give you a tax organizer, you know, um, every year in January, I tell my clients, hey, as W-2s come in, have a folder or envelope where as they come in, you just throw it in the envelope or you throw it in the folder, put it right there on your bar or on your table so that when it's tax time, all you have to do is just grab that folder. Like, it shouldn't be a heavy lift, so that you can make sure that you hopefully submit everything. I do like the idea of having, as Brent said, spreadsheets where you can say, okay, yeah, I have these 4 companies. This is what, these are when the due dates. This is what I'm filing. And it just helps you, and it helps us to produce a better product for you. Because if I'm spending time, first of all, I'm not the type of professional that's going to go through receipts. I'm going to be honest with you. So if you have stuff in a box full of receipts, I'm not the person for you. I'm not the professional for you. Joy, she might go through the receipts, but
no, not anymore. We used to. Not it's a tough sled now.
Yeah. So, the more.
Well, hey, Bev, let me jump in real quick before you go on with that, because when you all talk about that, that's something to consider when you're organizing yourself. If you know that the person you're going to at the higher level isn't going to do the more tedious task, then you need to have a bookkeeper or somebody who is going to organize that information on an ongoing basis, quarterly, monthly, whatever it's going to be, so you can get the report from them to just deliver it to the end professional who's going to submit it or, interpret the data. So, that's important to know, what will they do versus what will they not do? Because maybe that's on your checklist. So maybe you have a monthly thing that says, did you record receipts, mileage on your car? And again, you're not writing the mileage in that checklist. You're just making a check mark to say you did it. And also,
right. And what I used to tell people when they first got started and they may not have been able to hire a bookkeeper, I would say, look, once a month, you take a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning and you print your bank statements for that month, and you go through your bank statements and you write, notate what expenses you actually had. Because if you go to Walmart, guess what? Walmart isn't going to say that you purchased supplies. It's just going to say you spent your money at Walmart. So how do we know what it is that you spent the money on? And IRS is the same way. IRS has 3 years to audit. So if you pull your bank statements 3 years from the time you filed that tax return or you did that transaction, you ain't going to remember, because guess what? You don't even remember what you did last week. I don't remember what I did last week. Okay. No, so sit down once a month and, print your bank statements, go through your bank statements, make notations, gather all your receipts, put it in a Ziploc bag or a folder. If you can't afford to hire a bookkeeper, then work with that bookkeeper. And in the beginning, if you can't afford to hire a bookkeeper, guess what? You should get organized so that you can get your budget to a place where you budget in the bookkeeper and the accountant and the tax advisor and all that other stuff. So it's critically important, really, for the growth of your business, for you to become organized.
It is. I couldn't have said it better. You just have and for growth, for success, and just for you, because even with the pandemic, one of the things that we learned was that sometimes we have to pivot. We're not using that word as much anymore, but you don't even know what's going on in your business if you're just kind of glancing at the bank account and using that as your judge of how well you're doing, because that could at any given time, your bank balance is always changing. You can't, that doesn't alone tell you how your products and your services are doing. And so, and even how much money you're putting in the company and whether or not it's time to make a change or when it's time to hire your first staff member. You can't really make good decisions without numbers and without having some type of record keeping of what you're doing in a business. And just to go back to Brent's X and Y spreadsheet, you can do that, or you could just create a overall business, like a master cheat sheet if you have multiple businesses that say that you own businesses. Because as Brent mentioned, he actually owns a business with Leon, but he also has other businesses that he owns with either himself or other people. So kind of laying all of that out with the percentages so that your tax professional can know what you have going on really helps us to really help you and help your businesses to go forward.
And these things are critically important to everybody. You might even have bank accounts or investments that you need to get, some type of tax documentation for, but you just forget. With all the other things happening, you're like, I totally forgot about that property, but it's 2 years later and you're just remembering you haven't said anything for the last 2 years. Not because you intentionally were trying to hide it, you just literally forgot. And so having this list, a master list, I really believe that I've now experienced it. I'm having my enlightened moment. I'm realizing where my faults are. And I'm looking at myself going, well, what's so hard about getting organized? It's far easier to do it now in the off season than struggling through and I'm talking the mental anguish of trying to figure out trying to remember everything that you gave or didn't give is time consuming. It costs you money. It's far cheaper just to pay somebody to do it, be efficient, and clear up that mental space. You will make more money. So if you're paying a couple thousand, if you're paying a couple thousand to get this done, you will make more money just having mental clarity and being able to focus on your business's growth than worrying about all the stuff because you thought you were trying to save money by just pushing through and you'll wait till later. It doesn't work that way. And if you are not having that moment of just understanding, it should be right now. Yeah. You will hurt yourself if you're not organized.
Yeah, I like what you said when you talk about clarity, having mental clarity. I was just, meeting with a client today. When she first came in earlier this year, she was really overwhelmed. I didn't think her tax situation was not anything too complicated for me to handle, but I realized that her biggest challenge was she was disorganized, right? So she came in with notices so I sent her out of here. Yeah. But I gave her a task and I said, look, the first thing I want you to do before we meet again is organize all of your IRS correspondence by year. Okay, organize it by year. And then organize all your tax documents by year. Right. And then we had another discussion about some of her finances and some of the decisions that she made. It's funny because I met with her today. She was like, oh my God, do you know I got rid of that property and I got rid of that property? I only met with her like 4 months ago, but it gave her the clarity to see that she was overextended. She didn't need to be buying certain things. And I could tell the difference between when we originally met and where she is right now. She's in a much calmer space. She has a lot more clarity about the direction of her life. And not only that, but the direction of her business, right? So just that one simple piece of advice, really helped her.
Yep. So with that being said for today, Joy, did you have anything before we signed off?
Nope, not at all.
The overarching theme is that you have some responsibility in this thing called financial responsibility. It is not solely on your professionals to, remember all your brokerage accounts. A lot of people come to us inside of IAA and they're like, do I have to file taxes for my brokerage accounts? Well, depending on the type of account it is, yes. And then they're like, well, do I have to tell my accountant about the interest? If you're getting a 1099 INT, or if you have interest anyway, yes, tell them. Let them help you through what you do say, don't say. So it comes from a multitude of places where people think they can cut corners because it's easier. It will catch up to you in time. And even if it doesn't, it causes you stress that slows you down in life. You don't want that. Pay somebody well to actually get it done for you, but also don't put the onus on them as if they have a miracle pill that's just going to fix everything in your life, even when you haven't tried to fix it yourself. Have some responsibility in your own existence, in your business existence, and work with your professionals in tandem so you all can reach a solution to make sense, and then next year can be easier. So with that being said, if people are trying to get in touch with you all, how can they get in touch with you? Joy, if you can give them the
Sure.
information
So
they can
I'm
work.
Joy Sistrunk of Premier Group. They can call us at 301-577-6444, or they can go on our website at www.pgs-cpa.com.
All right. Beverly.
And I am Beverly Winstead. You can reach me at 301-306-1234. And we're on the web at www.irshelpattorneys.com.
Yep. And my name is Brent Simpson, again, co-founder of Investing Education Academy with Leon Noble. If you are trying to figure out how to make your money work for you instead of working super hard for your money, you can join our community at www.ieanow.com. It's been a pleasure talking to you in the Three Money Migos.